This reflection is going to be very interesting because today we'll trace how thought becomes bondage, how mind starts behaving like Maya, and how observation dissolves illusion. You must have heard Manomulam Idam Jagat, which means the world rises from the mind, or Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavti, as you think, so it becomes. These, at least for people who are trying to dissect spirituality and trying to understand the thoughts, are not just poetic verses like a house of impressions, some sacred and some rotten. So each thought is a color, painting your inner world, and from there, your outer life. Like I talked about the colors of different thoughts in the previous audio, I'll expand on it a little more in this one. A spiritual thought arising from sattva, that is purity and clarity, is golden yellow, the color of illumination, wisdom, and balance. A thought charged with rage, a product of rajas, which is restless activity, is dark red, inflamed, destructive, binding. Selfish and greedy thoughts rooted in tamas, that's inertia and ignorance, are muddy brown, heavy, very dense, and decaying. Envy, a mix of tamas and rajas, it seeps in greenish black, poisoning both the perceiver and the perceived. So each of these colors is a vasana, a subconscious tendency, a psychic residue. These are the seeds of karma, impressions that are lodged in the chitta, that's memory mind, that surface again and again, seeking resolution or repetition. And my most favorite person on the planet, Carl Jung, would call it shadow, just like Upanishads called it avidya, that's ignorance of the self. Freud saw the unconscious as a place of repressed instinct, but Vedanta sees it as a place of forgotten divinity. Isn't that beautiful? Where they both agree is that what is not brought to the light will control your life from the dark. And our mind tends to create self structures. I am this, not that. I am that, and not this. And from there, every single thought becomes a reinforcement of the identity you've built. Anger, it confirms your wounded narrative. Desire, it fills the false self with imagined fulfillment. Swamiji specifically mentioned about the five koshas, how all of them are also part of our mind. The Annamaya kosha, which is food sheath, it's a physical body. Pranamaya kosha, the energy sheath, breath and life force. Manomaya, Vinyanmaya, Anandamaya. There are five of them. Even bliss, if clung to, it becomes a veil. True liberation is beyond even these, even beyond Anandamaya kosha, which is the bliss sheath. Deep peace, but still a sheath. So your senses don't show you the world. Your thoughts interpret the world. For example, if an alien saw a rose, it sees form but not meaning. Why? Because meaning is assigned in the mind. Thought is naming, and naming is separating. Where there's no perception of otherness, there's liberation. When you don't label anybody else as you and yourself as I, you become one. And that is what I think my purpose is, to tell people that any kind of separation is an illusion. For us, say the thought says, this is a rose, this is a weed, this is a friend, this is enemy, and this is where the duality begins. The thought, it splits the indivisible. Even the emotions like pleasure, pain, bitterness, sweetness, all of these, they don't lie in objects, they lie in your thinking. A breakup isn't painful, but your thoughts about it are. We chase things fearing loss, but what we fear is the thought of loss, the fear of loss. Everything is an interpretation. And Swamiji seems to be a big fan of Yoga Vishishta. He mentioned that the mind alone is the cause of bondage, and liberation. I think I'm gonna pick that book up next once I'm done reading all the books that I'm reading currently. Anyway, so ask yourself, what thoughts color my waking life? What repetitive patterns am I reliving? What impressions, that is, samskaras, have I left unresolved? Each recurring thought should make you observe yourself a little more. Not suppress, not indulge, but just witness. The self is not attained by logic, not by learning or by intellectualizing it. It'll be attained only by those whom the self chooses, or to him the self reveals itself. And who does this self choose? The one who turns inward, the one who becomes the observer, not the actor, the one who learns to watch the thoughts come and go like clouds and not commandments, even while knowing the power of the thoughts. So you are not your thoughts, you are not even the thinker, you are witness of a thought, the sakshi, the unchanging substratum beneath the ever changing colors. You are not the red rage, you are not the brown greed, you are not even the golden peace that we talked about. You are the screen, not the movie, the sky, not the cloud. I think it was Pema Chodron who said that you are the sky, everything else is weather. Such a beautiful quote, very telling of what we are talking about. You are the light and not the lamp. And the moment you see that, the thoughts start dissolving. What remains is just the truth.